Have you ever woken up from a dream that seemed so real, like you just left people behind that you were with in your dream and you can feel the emotions and everything so clearly that you can't believe it was a dream? What if these same symbols and people in your dream had something to teach you about yourself so that you had better self-understanding? The mind has only a few ways it can talk without your voice, and one of those ways is through dreaming. And when you share it, especially with people that you trust, you can learn even more about yourself and about the people that you spend time with in your waking life. Hi, I'm Janae Moss, and I study sport and performance psychology and dream studies. I have always been fascinated with dreams, and they have taught me so much in my life that I knew when I got to this point in my educational career that I wanted, it feels like a career, I would want to study dreams if I ever was given the chance. So today I'm going to combine the two. I want to share a few thoughts about performance psychology and about dream studies. I currently study dream studies at Sophia University from Dr. Angel Morgan is her name. One thing about dreams that I've always found interesting when I was a young mom, actually I would back up even further. I have a long history of dreaming that I will share in another video later as I explain more about dream studies. But for today, I'm going to jump forward to when I had my own kids and how I naturally would ask them in the morning how they slept and how their dreams were. I couldn't help but ask them this because I had learned throughout my life that when I slept and woke up, I learned so much from my dreams, and I thought, what are these little kids thinking about in their dreams? And so they started sharing things with me that was so interesting. And from an outsider's perspective, you know, being the mom, I could see that there were things that they were learning in their waking life that were showing up in their dreams, of course. Another thing that I like about dream sharing, and when the kids are around and we're either laughing at hilarious dreams or we are talking about a scary dream or a nightmare, it gives the kids and the family a chance to bond in a way that is safe. If we don't tease each other too hard, harshly about the dreams, then we get to learn about the person sharing and we get to learn something about ourselves as we listen. Dr. Angel Morgan, as I would suggest, or as I brought up earlier, my professor, she studied the Sonoid people in Malaysia. And she said that these people, for many, many years, have always woken up in the morning, and I believe they're a tribe, the Sonoid people, and they will dream share, all in a circle around the fire. I believe it's a fire, don't quote me on that part. But what I love about it is they would even bring the kids into the dream circle in the morning, and they would listen to what the kids had to say and what they felt about the dreams that they had. And then they would take this collective wisdom that came from dreaming in the night, and they would decide together and talk together about how they thought that affected their tribe. And they would use this to decide where to go and what to do so that they could be healthy and survive even with food or how, you know, where they lived and everything about their culture. I think this tells us something powerful, that people have always craved to have that human connection and to be understood and to be sharing deep thoughts that mean something to them. Dreaming is a really amazing way that we naturally do that. We spend, I believe when I added it up with the help of like ChatGPT, we spend about 6 years, give or take, depending on how long we live, dreaming at night. I think it's about 2-hour REM cycle per night, and where we typically remember the most dreams. And over our lifetime, that is a lot of time that we are thinking and processing about dream symbols. So in performance psychology, we know that we are strengthened when we share how we're feeling, whether we're in a sport or we're showing up on a team. We are strengthened, our team is strengthened when we do that. And the same thing is true for our families. When we show up, we circle up and we listen to one another without judgment, and we try to understand where the other person's coming from. Our team as a family is stronger. So dream interpretation or dream studies do this for us. One thing that I've learned so far in my dream studies program is that as the listener of somebody else sharing a dream, we have the tendency, or we want to be like, oh, well, obviously your dream means this, and we want to answer it for them because it might seem so obvious to us what their dream means. But the truth is, even Carl Jung, from one of the founding fathers of dream studies a long time ago, he said that he'd review, over 100 dreams a day and interpret them. And one of the things that he learned is, as much as he studied dreaming and dream symbols, he still would never sit with somebody in one session and just tell them what their dream meant, because it really depends on the dreamer and how they interpret a certain word. For instance, if one person was to dream about a spider, you could ask them and say, well, describe a spider to me. And they would, this is called dream interviewing, but they would describe maybe a scary spider. It was coming at me, it was gonna bite me, it was huge, and it's a scary thing. And then for somebody else, they might describe a spider like, oh, their cobwebs are so intricate and beautiful, and they're so calm, and so you can see that the two different dreamers would have a symbol show up in their dream of a spider in two totally different ways. And that's why Carl Jung always said you need to really take time to understand how the dreamer would interpret the symbols in their dreams without judgment. And it's the same thing with our family or close people that we're sharing dreams with, that we need to listen and ask the dreamer, what do you think that means? Or what does the spider mean to you? And listen to how they describe the spider. And then you can help guide them through the process of self-exploration and understanding what that means to them. So that is a really fast way of explaining, and we can get further when I talk about dream studies, which I foresee for the rest of my life. I can teach you all different ways that I'm learning to do this. There's all different methods for interpreting dreams, but that is just one thing that's really important, the non-judgment, letting the dreamer stop if they don't want to share anymore, and letting the dreamer decide what the things mean to them. How this relates to performance psychology and family dream work is that in the morning, when you circle up and you start talking about these things, and you implement the things that I just shared, you're going to have a safe environment where it's fun to share. You can laugh together, you can cry together, you can try to figure out problems together, and it can build your tribe just like it builds the Sonoy people in Malaysia. So I just wanted to give a journaling prompt or an idea for you and your family if you want to implement dream interpretation or dream studies into your family to build a stronger connection. I know I have stronger connections with my kids because we took the time to think about our nighttime, whether we slept well or not. Maybe some sleep hygiene, we can talk about that later, and some things that were dreamed about. Because as the kids got used to sharing with me and I share with them, it was easier for them to open up about other things in their waking life because they knew that they were safe with me. So, okay, so here's the practice. In the morning, when the kids wake up, you can have a dream huddle of sorts if you want, or it can be much more organic, kind of like it was for me with my kids or my parents with me. They would just ask, have you had any funny dreams lately, or it would come up and we'd talk about it. But if you want to be intentional, then have a dream huddle or talk about it for a minute and ask if there was anything that was dreamed that people want to share, and listen to them. And you could even have a family dream journal where you record your thoughts if anybody had something that they wanted to share, so that over time you can see patterns and see what comes up. So yeah, I have a journaling prompt. If you want to do that, you can grab a paper and write it down. So this is, I'm going to call it the Mindscape journaling prompts. And eventually I'm going to have lots of journaling prompts that I will put together into a booklet and to have for download or whatever. But this first one I'm going to share is, let's see, it says, imagine your family is gathered together. I can't read my own writing because I can't see it very well. This might help a little bit. Okay. Imagine your family or community is gathered around in the morning by a fire, like we are right now, and sharing dreams the way that the Sonoy people of Malaysia do. What dream or image would you offer the circle today? So you can ask the kids that. And what message might it hold for not just you, but for your family unit? And there may be something and there may not be anything, But what happens is the strength is in the sharing and is in the building of the community. So it's okay if you just had random dreams that are about memory, things that you just remember from your days, or about something you had to do the next day. You know, you can just have a pretty typical dream that it's not extraordinary, but in the sharing of whatever happened, it will strengthen the community as a whole, and it raises the level of safety, understanding, and support for the community. So subscribe and join in next time, and I will continue to teach as I learn about my dream studies. Okay, thanks. See ya.